from my perspective as the CEO of the Centre for Volunteering, and I should start with my name, which is Lynne Dalton, one of the main reasons we have this conference is because we're passionate about good volunteer management. And the idea of this conference, of course, is to encourage you all and to educate you all about opportunities to make sure that in New South Wales we can set the pace as far as good volunteer management. And we're very privileged in New South Wales that we have a government that supports that aspect of volunteering, not only through investing in the volunteer sector, but on your chairs you would have seen the principles underlying how we should behave as volunteer organisations and managers of volunteers and volunteers ourselves. Some of us, most of us I hope, are volunteers as well as managers. And with the New South Wales State Government we developed these principles around volunteer engagement. So I urge you to have a read of those principles and explain to me why you couldn't possibly adopt them in your organisation. And if you can adopt them in your organisation, go onto the website, sign up to the principles and download your certificate as someone who really adheres to the principles around volunteering. One of the other aspects of the New South Wales Government strategy on volunteering is a focus on young people. And I was just having a discussion with the Minister about the need for all of us to think seriously about how we can engage young people more in our organisations. They're out there, they're willing, they're fit, they're young, they're raring to go. Let us help you to find opportunities for them. But I'm going to let the Minister talk about those things. We are very privileged to have the Minister with us today because it is a sitting day. So he's here for a short time, wants to talk to you people and reiterate exactly what the government is doing in the space of volunteering. So the Minister, please welcome Minister Dominello, Minister for Citizenship and Communities and also Member for Ryde. Thank you, Minister.
Thanks, Lynne. I begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of our beautiful land and pay my respects to the elders both past and present. Thank you, Lynne, and thank you for inviting me to address this important gathering and to articulate just very briefly what we do in New South Wales, particularly from a government perspective, and how we recognise volunteers and how we can promote volunteers and the rights around volunteering. The New South Wales Government recognises the importance of supporting volunteering. The New South Wales Volunteering Strategy, the first ever strategy on volunteering in this state, was released just over a year ago and has provided significant support for volunteers and volunteer organisations. Through the strategy, the government is investing $4.5 million for volunteering because it recognises the vital role that volunteers play in sustaining our communities. 1 year on, the New South Wales Volunteering Strategy has delivered outcomes that support volunteers and encourage more people to experience the joys of volunteering. Significant work has been conducted under each of the 5 key strategic areas, and I'll outline them for you now. The first is we've established, believe it or not, a New South Wales volunteering website. Basic stuff, but it's important stuff that you need. It was launched in National Volunteer Week in last year and has attracted 40,000 visitors in its first year of operation. The site provides a single point of access and resources for volunteers, organisations and businesses. Second thing we've done, the cost of police checks for volunteers in aged care has been reduced to $15. To date, more than 540 people have benefited from these arrangements. Now, that's a reduction, I think it was about $55 or $42, something around that figure, to $15. So, again, that's a big thing for volunteers. Third thing, time banking trial. The first of its kind in Australia is underway in the Central Coast, Newcastle, Lake Macquarie and the Hunter regions to foster a network of members who exchange services online. This community program allows members to earn credits when donating their time and then spend these credits to receive services from another volunteer. I call it like time bank or bartering for volunteers. It's a great idea. More than 100 organisations and businesses have joined as members and there are over 800 active participants. This is already one of the largest time banking schemes in the world. With this fantastic level of community response, I look forward to increased membership in coming months. An evaluation of the trial in partnership with the Universities of Newcastle and Wollongong is underway. This heartening progress under the commitment to making it easier for people to volunteer. Now, again, we've just done a pilot or a trial, if you will, in the Newcastle Hunter area. But when I talk about the time banking initiative, whether it's in Auburn, whether it's down in the South Coast, wherever I go, a lot of communities are interested in it because they can see the value of it. So hopefully if this trial and the evaluation of it proves successful, it's something we can roll out. But it's a key initiative of the strategy. In answer to the strategy's direction to broaden the volunteer base, volunteer managers now have improved access to professional guidance through subsidised places in the New South Wales Skills Priority List for Certificate for and Volunteer Program Coordination commencing from July 2013. The Centre for Volunteering is leading the delivery of that training. 200 additional places have been subsidised for the Way to Go volunteering management training sessions across New South Wales in regional and metropolitan area. Now for the first time, training pathways have been created for volunteer managers to complete accredited training, improve their knowledge and skills and build careers in volunteer management. This year a pilot project was conducted to demonstrate volunteering as a pathway to employment. In Bathurst, the strategy has enabled a coalition of employers, job service providers and the Volunteer Resource Centre to place young Aboriginal people in employment as a result of their experience gained as volunteers through the program. Under the project, 15 volunteers developed their skills in food production and service industries and 10 have secured employment. So again, evidence-based. It's not just doing a program for program's sake. We've seen that 15 went into volunteers. Now 10 of them have got real jobs. So that's a tick. So we're really excited about that. Planning is underway to extend the success of this program into other areas in the coming year. So that's another tick in relation to the strategy and what we've done as a government in the last year. Considerable results have been achieved in improving recognition and support for supporting volunteers in the workplace environment. This strategy has led to the establishment of a corporate volunteering forum with 40 participants from leading Australian companies and a major not-for-profit organisations. The forum identified new ways for business and volunteer organisations to work together to grow corporate volunteering for small organisations. The group has now extended to 60 members and each will be promoting to the next tier of organisations in their networks the value of investing in deeper, well-directed collaborations for social impact. Small to medium organisations stand to benefit greatly from support, so a resource has been developed to help them develop a foundation for effective cooperation with corporate stakeholders. In the important area of valuing volunteers and celebrating their contribution, the Centre for Volunteering reported to me on ways of improving the recognition of rights of volunteers in New South Wales. Over 3,000 participants, guided by the expert group, had input into this report. It is clear to me that people who commit themselves as volunteers want to be involved in the life of the organisation that they donate their time to, their energies and their skills to, and to participate in decisions that affect their work. In response to this report, I was pleased to release the Statement and Principles for the Recognition of Volunteer Rights. These principles enshrine the rights of volunteer workers to be treated with fairness, dignity and respect. Now, these principles, and Lynne's already told you that they're on your chair, hopefully you've got them there underneath you, are that firstly the organisation demonstrates a commitment to best practice in volunteer management and will allow people respect and support this commitment. Secondly, our volunteers are involved in the life of the organisation and are included in the decisions that affect them. Thirdly, that the organisation provides volunteers with clarity about their roles and is clear about the expectations and policies that impact on their roles. Fourthly, our volunteers respect the roles of everyone in the organisation. Fifth, the organisation recognises and celebrates the contribution of volunteers. 6, our volunteers are provided with training and professional development for their roles. 7, the organisation provides all our people with the opportunity to resolve disputes with respect and dignity. Organisations may adopt the principles as a signal of their commitment to their volunteers, and I urge all organisations that benefit from the gift of volunteering to endorse them. Volunteers freely give up their energies and abilities in order to create a world that is capable of sustaining all members of its society. So I endorse the Statement of Principle for the recognition of volunteer rights on the 13th of May this year, and I want to congratulate those organisations that have already chosen to adopt the principles, but more is required. I was in Dubbo last week, and there we got the Royal Flying Doctor Service to sign up on the Statement of Recognition of Volunteer Rights, Principle of Recognition of Volunteer Rights, and they signed up because they recognise how important volunteers are to their lifeblood, and they simply and proudly now adopt that statement, and now they've signed it up, put it on their front door, so when volunteers come in, and they get a lot of volunteers going through the Flying Doctors, they now automatically say, yeah, this is like a certified organisation. This is an organisation that respects me as a volunteer. And that, to me, if you're trying to get the best of the best volunteers out there, I would have thought organisations would want to put this on their front door and their front window as a great, not just as a sign of respect for the volunteers, but as a sign that they have the best practice. So I congratulate all those that have adopted it so far, but as I said, more is required. And I invite all organisations here today to consider adoption of the principles by visiting the New South Wales Volunteer website and joining the growing group of signatories. Every signatory will be advancing the discussion of respect, dignity and fairness for volunteers. Each organisation that signs up will receive their Statement of Principles certificate. The certificate can be incorporated when representing an organisation to current and potential volunteers that their contributions are valued and their rights are respected. I will also take the opportunity to acknowledge the Centre for Volunteering as a leader of the movement towards ensuring volunteers are treated with care and respect. Well done, Lynne. I know you've been super passionate about this, so well done to you. And Lynne has been on my tail since I've become Minister about this, so when we gave birth to this, or when you really gave birth to this in May this year, this is really something you should be very proud of. And I was particularly proud to know that we're the first state to even have anything like this in all of Australia, so well done, Lynne. Thank you again for your volunteering contributions. I know, as you do, that volunteering is a cornerstone of civic life, and volunteers are seen as the soul of our society. Without your contribution, the community would be a poorer and less supportive place. There is no doubt about that. Thank you. I was here last year and I saw the presentations, and you had some great speakers last year. I've got no doubt you got the same this year. Well, I say unfortunately. Fortunately, for democracy's sake, Parliament is sitting today, so I can't spend too much time with you this morning, but I encourage you all to get as much out of today as you can. Thank you.